What's up, everybody? Master Reactor here, and I'm going to do a replay of a match I just played where this guy completely played himself like an idiot, and then he tried to go back and pause the game and do some shit. He thought he had me, so I instantly throw paper and I get the rock, paper, scissors, okay? So let's see what happens. I got Knock, Double Solemn, Jar Greed, Chaos Sorcerer, and Kaiku. He's got Pot, Sacred Phoenix, Fustular, Duo, D-Mock, and that's it. I set 4 and say go. Set my Solemn, set my Jar Greed, set my Knock, and set my other Solemn. He draws Torrential Tribute for turn. He decides to fire the Pot. I'm like, hold on there, buddy, old pal. I Solemn that shit right away. He duos me, gets that away, and he sets Torrential and fades out Jar Greed. I draw into my duo, and I fire the duo on him, and pick his D-Mock, and his Fustular Dragon he throws out. Now he's left with Sacred Phoenix, and that's it. He draws into Jinzo, another dead draw. I hit him again for 18, not banishing shit, because I know what he's playing. And I set my Deco and say go. I draw into Chaos Sorcerer, I flip it up. He tries to torrential me. I say, hold on, wait a minute again. I saw him the fuck out of that, and I'm at 1500. And I actually did him the same way he did me. So I went into battle phase, but I said, hold on, let me go back to main. So it's so funny. We both did it to each other. So he let me take it back. I did not let it. Well, because he didn't want to. I did let him take it back because I let him go into main phase. He tried to go into battle phase game 3. So that's pretty funny. So that was a quick game 1. On to game number 2. This is going to be a quick replay here. He has got Ring, Duo, Meta, Heavy, Jinzo, and Graceful Charity. Must be fucking nice. This dude drew the fucking good shit, Pot and Duo, both damn games. Luckily I had the Solemn for it, so he drew Call, Brain Control, and Mind Control. He throws out Jinzo and Meta, sets his Call and sets his Ring and says go. I get my Sinister Serpent back. I run out the Sanguine, try to attack him. He rings it. I search for my Cyberstein because I'm gonna try to whatchamacallit. I'm gonna try to get Stein out to get the Lost Warrior Planet, but he has Call of the Haunted for Jinzo. And my hand's pretty dead, so I just scoop. So on to game 3. This is when it gets interesting in the game 3, which is pretty funny. He played himself here. So I've got Trap, Dust Shoot, Breaker, Double Kaiku, Heavy, and Spy. I set Spy and set Trap, Dust Shoot and say go. He's got Double Reasoning, Pot of Greed, Vortex, Snatch, and Vampire Lord. I Trap, Dust Shoot him, put the Vampire Lord back in the deck. And he's going to fire Pot of Greed, and he draws Soul Exchange and Fustular Dragon. He uses the Reasoning. I call 4. He eventually gets his Jinzo to the field, which is terrible. That sucks for me. Then he uses Reasoning, and I instantly call 8, and there it is off the top, so thank God. And he attacks it to a Spy, and I go get my Spy in defense. And he just says go. I draw into Cyberstein. Now, this would be good if I could bring the guy out, but instead, I do bring out Thousand Eyes Restrict. And I poke him for 24, and say go. He draws into Monster Gate. He decides to snatch steal my whatchamacallit, which he could have just snatch stealed Cyberstein here and then Vortex, pay 5k and win. But this guy's fucking dumb as shit, obviously. So he Monster Gates the Thousand Eyes, and then he's so terrible. He could have just fucking snatched steal my Cyberstein, paid for the effect, used Vortex, and it's over. So instead he went for this shit. And he uses the tribe to get rid of my Spy. Then he summons Fustular Dragon, goes into battle phase. He's like, wait a minute. Let me go back into main phase and use tribe effect. Which is so funny because there's 2 machines on the field. And I'm exactly at 3,000. He thought he had me. Then he sits and waits forever. Cancels the shit. Does all this shit. Blah, blah, blah. Tries to bring it back. Tries to do everything. And eventually I talk him into... After he waits for fucking 20 years and be's a little bitch. And I keep targeting it. And he went back into main phase. He used the tribe, as y'all just seen. So the tribe's effect is going off here. And eventually he agrees with me. Eventually, 20 years later. A bunch of comments. A bunch of looking into the fucking logs. A bunch of whatever the fuck. And so the tribe effect is eventually going to go off. After like fucking 15 minutes of delay. And there goes his vortex out. He pokes me for 1600, leaving me down to 14. I draw into BLS. I run the Kaiku out and poke him for 200. And say go. He draws, or I set heavy and say go. He draws in a duo, decides to fire the duo on me. Another 1000 out, and he picks Kaiku, and I throw out BLS. I run out the breaker, and I poke him again, leaving him at 700. And now I start banishing the shit and he draws into Scapegoat and instantly plays it to give himself 4 tokens. And this is when he says he has to take a shit. And so he's being a little fucker the whole time. I draw into Faith. I poke into 2, whatchamacallits, 2 goats eventually. And I set Trap Dust Shoot, set Faith. He draws Torrential Tribute, and he just scoops like a fucking idiot. When it sure wouldn't have mattered, because I definitely would have heavy before I flipped to make sure it was game. So that was the game. That was a quick game. His dumbass, he fucked it up. He could have won. He could have literally just won that turn by just snatch stealing my Stein, paying 5k, and then Lightning Vortex my board and attack for game. So that shit was so funny. I feel like messaging him and telling him that. But y'all have a good day or night. Anytime you're seeing this video, don't be like this guy. Think about your plays. Hit the like, hit the sub. Peace out. Bye.